Hey everybody. I'm just trying to go live on Instagram here as well. My button's not working. I don't know about you, Kristen.
It just
Oh,
did.
there we go. There we go. All right. So welcome. We are going live for the Bank of Canada policy rate decision. It's not a matter of will they or won't they, but the real question is by how much?
What they?
I'm Sean. Pardon me. Will they? This is Kristen Petrado, Von Zawadski. I'm Sean Humphreys, and this is Mortgage People. Hey guys, so we've got the mortgage announcement in 3 minutes, and widely expected. Yeah, widely expected that it's going to be. I mean, I'm on the 25 basis points rate cut. I know you guys are hoping or telling me that it's going to be 50, but what do you think? I just want you to tell me I'm right at this point.
You're so smart and right. I think you've really done an apt analysis. I think maybe the like jobs numbers and economy numbers are like too good. I just keep going back to that Benjamin Tal moment where he's like, the bank does not care about a recession. They care about inflation. That is all. And so I think they're going to slow and steady, even though I want Vaughn to be right.
Oh, I want me to be right too. I doubt that I will be in this case. I think that I've called out the Bank of Canada for their timid response in the past, and I think that they'll continue. And we can get into the implications of the Fed and their rate cut, which will probably be announced on the 18th this month, and the implications there. But it's like a consensus of fear for the Bank of Canada. They won't make a bold move. It'll be too late when they finally make their move. But I guess we're going to find out real soon.
When you say I'm calling out the Bank of Canada, I just picture like the newspaper article of like podcaster with 100 subscribers calls out Bank of Canada.
I mean, it's a shared 100 subscribers really between the three of us too. It's not really like I'm not carrying that subscriber base.
I think you're right on like the Bank of Canada looking back on this meeting and thinking, hey, maybe we should have done 50 basis points. I think that's certainly a possibility if some of the future numbers don't look so hot or they look worse than what the consensus is. But I can't see them pulling the trigger on a big swing today.
I think that the real argument for them not putting a 50 basis point cut today will be the spread between the U.S. Like the Fed, because the Fed's at like 5.33. We're at 4.5, going down to 4.25 is most likely what's going to happen. So you've got basically that 1% spread, which is a comfortable spread between the two economic forces. The only way that they can justify that is to say we don't want more inflation, because if the spread becomes greater than 1%, American goods will cost more, which would potentially lead to more inflation. I think it's a real soft argument, but it'll be good enough for the Bank of Canada today.
Okay, this just in. Bank of Canada reduces policy rate by 25 basis points.
I knew about your smug face. There was no surprise in your face at all.
What is it going to be? I'm right. 4.25%. I'm a little disappointed that I was right. I think like it would have been great to get 50 basis points.
Yeah, but shiny. 50 is shiny and nice.
Yeah.
25's
exactly.
Not nothing. What does it mean in terms of payments, Sean? I know you did the math on this.
I did the math. Yeah. So if we get, so say you've got a $500,000 mortgage amortized over 30 years and your rate is prime minus 50, it's basically the difference of about $78 per month difference. And so about 100 for every $100,000, it's about $16. if you already have prime minus 1% and it's dropped to 0.25% on a 25-year amortization mortgage, it's about $15 per month. So depending on, or for every $100,000, it's $15. So if you can do the math, it's about $15 or $16, depending on what your interest rate is and your mortgage amount, obviously, and your amortization. But you can, somewhere around $15 or $16 for every $100,000 in mortgage money.
Those people who have big mortgages that are ARMs that are adjustable, they're going to be celebrating. There's all these little celebrations since the summertime.
Yeah, if you think about that on a $500,000 mortgage, that's about $225 roughly that you saved over the last 3 interest rate cuts. That goes back into your pocket or
not nothing
towards something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it is relief. It's tangible relief for people with a variable rate mortgage.
Do we so what does this mean, do you guys think, for okay, so for anybody watching, thank you. You might be wondering what this means for people who are pre-approved or people who are looking for fixed rates. This rate announcement, we can't say it too many times, I think, does not directly affect fixed rates. It's only pertains to variable rates, these announcements, but there are indirect consequences, and there are, messaging within this announcement that would reflect on where the economy is going, where rates are going.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of, so people always ask me after the fact, oh, my fixed rate on my pre-approval should get better now, right? Because the Bank of Canada lowered the interest rate. Well, depending on when you did it, if you did the pre-approval last week or the week before, the fixed rates have already priced in this 25 basis point rate cut. And unless there's something in the announcement that is more dovish or more negative, and they foresee faster or larger rate cuts happening, then there's really going to be no difference to your fixed rate pre-approval today. And I wouldn't be picking up the phone and calling your mortgage broker and say, or your bank and saying, okay,
what's
my
new?
rate should be what's my lower rate right now. And that's a big misconception. I think we talk about this every 6 weeks when the Bank of Canada meets. There's not really going to be that much of a difference in fixed rates, but depending on further economic news, the U.S. Rate cut cycle, that could have further implications on rate cuts.
Yeah, and the employment market in the U.S. is starting to soften as well. So they're expecting a rate cut. The unfortunate thing is, there's always an effect on the fixed rate after the Bank of Canada cuts the key interest rate. But there's a lot of lag time in between that. So on a 25 basis points cut like today, it just prolongs what we are all looking forward to, which is the return of the real estate market. It just pushes that out a little bit further. So like a drastic cut would help out in a big way for the recovery.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen in the real estate market? Do you think we're headed towards, are we going to see more buyers return to the market?
They're there. They're just not in line with sellers right now. There are still, there are sellers, there are buyers, but we're just not sitting on the same side of the table when it comes to what pricing on a property.
I think I get the sense, and maybe I'm just speaking from my network, but it's not only buyers who are waiting on the sidelines, but I have felt for a very long time now that real estate agents are experiencing a bit of shell shock, like that they really want the rates to come down so that things will move. And we've got messages before from Chris Lightham, from Dr. Sherry Cooper. People need to one, understand what the new environment is, and it's slowly going down. But as we've said many times, as soon as it starts to pick up, housing prices are going to go up, and we don't know if there's room in the market for skyrocketing prices. I hope that buyers, as more people enter the market, remember the time when you could be selective and you could ask a reasonable price for a home, and you could put in conditions before your offer is firm to protect yourself. Because I think the worry is when rates come down, prices, bidding wars, people start, laying it all on the line, and that opens up for messier transactions, for risk to buyers. I think we're a ways away from that, but that is kind of the fear of aggressive rate cuts.
I wouldn't jump on the idea, too hard. I know we hear about this all the time that, when rates go down, prices will go up. Prices haven't really fallen, right? So I think that we're like years away potentially from big price increases.
What do you mean prices haven't fallen?
Prices for detached homes and houses and freehold properties haven't fallen. Sales have dropped, but prices have remained pretty steady. Like there's deals to be done in the sort of single bedroom or bachelor condo market right now because of investors evacuating, but people aren't evacuating their homes. So like there's not a ton of room for prices to like majorly increase, but
we were seeing
they'll come back.
I feel
the
differently.
sales will pick up.
I feel like
I feel differently too.
In the years leading up to COVID and through COVID, every home was $100,000 more expensive the next year. So whatever your budget is in 2020, whatever you're looking for is $100,000 more. It seemed. I mean, that's drastic, but just about.
It's not that crazy though.
But I mean, I've got people. People are coming to me with renewals who got into a mortgage 3 years ago, and their equity has not grown. Their house may not appraise at this time for what it sold for when they bought it 3 years ago. So housing prices, I don't know on a scale of, all the charts that we look at, if they've actually dropped, but they certainly are on sale in terms of the prices have not been going up. Like
it's not profitable in the last 3 years.
Yeah, when people were buying in 2021, people were buying dozens of multiple offers, hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking. People were just throwing money because mortgages were almost free. They were like such low rates.
Yeah.
And now,
and I don't think we're going back there, which is going to put a damper on how fast the housing market, how fast the prices can grow. I think the prices will return, but like we're talking about years, because I don't think we're going back down to a 25 basis point policy rate.
No, but I think we're going back to multiple offers. I'm already seeing it on well-priced, well-marketed properties. You're seeing multiple offers versus in the summer, a well-priced, well-marketed property was getting a handful of showings and maybe one or two offers.
A little kick.
Now we're starting to hear anecdotally, clients are losing out. There's 13 offers. It's going above what the asking price or what the market value was. And I don't see that reversing now because we've got another 25 basis point rate cut. I think that it's a big fear of missing out. And I keep hammering this point because I don't think it's based on economics. It's not based on how much can I afford as much as I don't want to miss out on a house. This is my opportunity, and people will continue to jump in because we continue to have low supply. And interest rates are lower than what they were a year ago or 6 months ago or half an hour ago.
I think the proof is in the pudding, though, Sean. If there was a fear of missing out, we would have property sales. We don't have any.
Well, so what are you saying? That if people would be feeling like they'd be missing out on, if they felt like they'd be missing out, like people would be putting their houses for sale for less?
Well, no, he's talking about buyers, right? You're saying the buyers who have FOMO are not out there throwing their money at all the properties like they were a couple years ago.
Not
because there was so much more money
mass
in the market
numbers
years ago.
But it's not like those people are not in need of housing. They're in need of housing. So I think that we will continue to get those people. Where I think we will not get price increases though is 1-bedroom bachelor condos. I completely agree with that because we've had a large amount of the demand essentially leave the market. So
Yeah, that's going to be challenging, especially, we know that there are going to be policy changes. There are already policy changes on some immigration and low-income workers. We know that there are policy changes coming to universities, which is going to limit that market, which is sort of, a rental market around the major universities. The condo market might be slower to recover, but it definitely will recover because they're not building anything. So we're going to have a big supply issue there as well. We've got a supply issue everywhere else. We also have the economic factor that, on average, upon renewal, the average mortgage is going to increase by $700 a month. That's a material change that people will say, hey, we can't afford that.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much
Yeah.
FOMO that they have. But once that drops, baby.
We'll see. We'll see. I think this continues to push it, but hey, that's great. So are we heading I know we had a couple other things to talk about, but I think that's a great spot to end. The announcement is quarter basis point rate drop. Policy rate is now 4.25, and prime rate is expected to drop to 6.45%. So we'll see you next time, and thanks for joining us, and see you next time on Mortgage People.
Hooray, hooray.